Hi, Matt with eTrailer. If you're looking for a carrier that's going to be able to handle those really heavy e-bikes, and you want something that's going to be a lot easier to load and unload them on your 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe, then the Yakima OnRamp LX Bike Rack is going to be a great option. Now, like I was saying earlier, this is a great choice for those really heavy bikes. And that's going to be because we have a pretty heavy weight capacity of up to 80 pounds per bikes. So there's not many carriers that can do that, and we're still going to get a great tilt-away. Now the caveat to having a great tilt-away with being able to haul heavy bikes like that is getting everything ready is a little bit more of a hassle than some other ones. I actually have to remove 2 pins, and they're a little awkward to get to when you have a bike on here. With that first one pulled, that's going to be the one that's giving us more support. That's going to be on your passenger side. And then the second one's going to be on your driver's side. And that one's really easy to use. I'm just going to tilt this back. And if I'm being honest, I recommend doing this with 2 people. Yakima recommends it too. But when you're ready, you can just open up your hatch. We have plenty of clearance to get this open too. And this is great if I want to take a seat, tie my shoes, maybe throw some groceries in here, or if I just want to grab my helmet so I can get ready for my bike ride. I can do that. And with that done, I can close my hatch and put this back into the seated position. And what's nice about that is we don't have to pull 2 pins, it's just 1 pin. First, I'm just going to put it into the seated position. That's going to be a little bit heavy, but we get a good amount of leverage right here to do that. I'll come around to this side, and I'm going to push in that clip on our passenger side. And this is what it's kind of awkward for me, is just trying to seat this into place because you have to lift up on it a bit. They really do that. But with that out of the way, if we want a closer look at this rack, I'm going to remove my bike. So where I like to start is with these straps. Pushing those in, tucking them away. And actually, a little design feature that I like about this that a lot of racks don't have is this little space you can tuck away this excess strap. Because a lot of times that just gets in your way when you're trying to remove your bike or put it on. I'll do the same thing for the front side. And then when I get over to the main mount right here, you can actually just tuck your arm in here and just press this button. Now I will say, since we are making frame contact, this is going to be not as recommended for those carbon frame bikes or bikes with a really nice paint job. But with that removed, I could lift up on this. Another thing I could do is just use the ramp that's included with this. So I'll just roughly put that in place, grab this ramp real quick. That's the nice thing about this is the ramp is built in to this carrier. Now what I don't like about the ramp is that we have 2 knobs and it comes in 2 pieces, so it's not as easy to use as some other ramps. Now it's not super difficult either, but it's definitely a lot more of a hassle as opposed as a telescoping ramp. Now if you are looking for an easier ramp option, I'd recommend that Hollywood Racks doesn't need an e-bike rack because that's going to have another one that's included. It's not going to be integrated like this one is, but it's going to use a telescoping ramp too. And that's just a little bit easier to use. But with that done, we can remove our bike. And you can put this ramp on your passenger or driver's side, so that's nice. You have the ability to really choose. And just to show you how it's going to work, I'll wheel this off. And then I can take this out for a ride. Now, you'll have to put the ramp back into place. And what I do like about that is, like I said, it is integrated into the design, so you don't have to worry about stuffing this back in your car, especially if things are pretty tight back there. You just don't have the space for that, then that's a nice option. But really, this doesn't take up a lot of space anyways. You can see what I mean. After every bike ride, you'll have to do this, or if you want to use this ramp, you'll have to do this. Line everything back up. And something I recommend just watching out for too is there's going to be this hole back here. If you don't line that up perfectly, then you have to undo this and try again. But with that on here, it's great that I got that on the first try. I can lower this center mass down, because this is how you're going to drive with it when there's no bikes on it. You have to pull it pin, lowers down, and really this gives us a pretty clean finish. I'm going to grab a tape measure real quick, just so we can get some measurements to see how this is going to live back here. The first measurement I'm going to get is going to be from our back bumper, and this is going to stick out about 27.5 inches, which honestly is pretty good. It's just something to think about if you're in those really tight spots, like a parking spot or a garage. But for the total distance, it sits from the ground. That's going to be 18.5 inches, which is pretty high, and that's going to be thanks to the rise in our carrier. So when you do have those really heavy e-bikes sitting on here, this isn't going to be likely to make contact with the ground. But we do have the option of really saving some space. I just going to put it into the fold-up position. Again, I'll have to pull both these pins. But honestly, when you get used to these, they're not too bad. Especially when there's no bikes on here at the moment, then I really don't mind using them. But with it in this position, we can get a measurement. And now it's only going to stick out, what is that, about 8.5 inches. So that's going to save you a ton of space. Now you do have to watch out for how far this sticks out, but you can really adjust where these sit. And I can just pull these out a bit so they don't make contact with your car, so they don't scratch nothing up. But even from this position, we're not blocking a whole lot. We're not going to block your license plates, taillights, or back window. The most you'll probably notice is a little bit of this peeking out from your backup camera, but it shouldn't allow you not to use this. Now, if you look at how this is installed, we're going to have a 2-inch shank, and that's going to go into your 2-inch hitch receiver. We'll then have an anti-rattle bolt that goes through and connects to this lock core right here. That lock core is just for that extra security so no one can take your bike rack. And this anti-rattle bolt is what's given us the sturdy feel we have today. This isn't moving at all, feels pretty secure, and that's something you're going to want with the care of those heavy e-bikes. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a pretty solid option. I do like that really high weight capacity. I do like the design of it. Now, the one drawback I see to this is the ramp. Well, like, the ramp is pretty nice that it is incorporated into the design. I don't like having to shift these knobs around all over the ramp just to be able to use it. Now, what I think is a great option is the one I mentioned earlier for Hollywood racks. This is an e-bike rack, because you have that telescoping ramp. And at the end of the day, they don't take up a lot of space inside your vehicle. The downside of that design, though, is you can lose it a lot easier. And if you are prone to losing things, then this might be the best one for you, especially since this is going to have a higher weight capacity too. But that was just a look at the Yakima OnRamp LX bike rack on our 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.